Hey, it's John. We're gonna do a walkthrough video on my XJ on 1 tons, 40s, Atlas, and a bunch of updates. Because I think I did a walkthrough video that kind of sucked like 2 or 3 years ago. Let's do a better video, and there's so many updates since then. Stay tuned, go wheel. All right, so XJ 40s. I've been an XJ guy. I bought my first XJ 2001, I think. Ever since then, I've probably primarily wheeled 2 XJs, but I've owned probably over 100. I'm still on the local Sierra chapter of NAXJA. I love XJs. Like they have a place in my heart that'll never leave. I think they're probably one of the best production vehicles ever made with the 4.0, the AW4, high pinion Dana 30. I know the later years, 99 through 01, had the low pinions, but high pinion 30. Yeah, get rid of the 8 1/4 and the 35. Keep the 44. You could put in the 8.8. Nowadays, you can put in JK 44s, JL 44s. You could do tons and 40s, but I would never do it again. I think it's too much work. I had to do an Atlas and a stroker to get it wheelable. My old XJ on a 30 and a 44 and 35s and long arms with chromos front and rear, wheeled great. Tons of seat time, very little wrench time for many years until I started to modify that rig. This rig is an awesome crawler, but it's not the best all-around vehicle. This is a much better all-around vehicle. Let's get into the XJ. Let's get into the new updates, and then from there, let's just talk about the rig, like where the build's kind of come and gone. So my buddy Dave, I picked up a ARB for the 14 bolt from Parts Mike. It definitely made this thing super streetable. The old Detroit was kind of worn out a little bit. I don't know, I wasn't too happy with it. Put that in recently in the past like year or so, and freaking cost a lot of money. There's a compressor right there, some switches and all that good stuff. So we got the 14 bolt. I've always wanted a selectable rear in this thing so I can turn better on the trail. Now, when you have Detroit lockers front and rear, super predictable, pretty strong, usually not gonna fail. I have a Detroit rear, Grizzly front before. Now I've got the ARB rear, Grizzly front, and I haven't even wheeled it yet. It's set up pretty good, pretty stoked. Now, in the past couple years since I shot that video, I've actually replaced the rear leaf springs, put on ruffstuff shackle boxes for the leaves because the old mounts were destroyed. Let's check those out. I like the RE 5.5s, and these are in good shape. These are brand new. TK1 Racing sway bar, metal cloak gas tank skid, and some rough stuff. There's just a single toe point in the rear. Cage ties into the rear bumper. So the rear suspension's pretty cool. We got some Bilstien 5125s or 5100s on top of the axles. They actually go through the floor. The old shocks were bent in half, but I couldn't see it with the boots on. And then, you know, front suspension's got some cool 5165s. They're once again like brand new. Also, another update. So on top of the rear shocks, the rear leaves, the rear shackle boxes, rear shackle bushings, front shocks, we also put on these vevor racing coils. They're really, really cool. They're like the stiffest spring rate you can possibly find. Now, when you're trying to get your rig to drive straight and it's really heavy and it's got a 3-link, I want to go as stiff as possible. Now, these are normally used in go fast rigs, but I want to use them for rock crawling, and they are awesome coils, and this thing is pretty sweet. We also have a Currie anti-rock up front and a TK1 Racing sway bar that goes through the rear, which is pretty sweet. And that helps with on-road and off-road stability, balances out the suspension, and gives you usable flex. You don't necessarily need tons of flex. You don't need to be dropping coils or unseating coils necessarily. You kind of want sprung weight to help keep the thing balanced and stable. This thing is very balanced and stable for an XJ on tons and 40s on the trail. Feels super good on off-camber stuff compared to how it used to feel. Some of the other things we've done in the past year is, past 3 years, all new FK rod ends. I cannot recommend enough to run FK JMX Heims. I run them on everything now. Also had PSC rebuild the ram and the box. It's a PSC box, big bore box with a PSC 1 3/4 ram with a custom stroke of 7 1/4. Got some high steer arms. I plated these knuckles. These are Ford Kingpin knuckles. I put new Kingpins on like 10 years ago. Some surplus center lines. We've done some storage stuff in the rear. I kind of changed it up quite a bit. We have the rear tire carrier that ties into the cage. It's double shear top and bottom, so it's dual double shear on both sides, which is pretty sweet. It's kind of dark, sorry. Got this little Harbor Freight rack. It just kind of hangs. Holds the air compressor and some other stuff. And then, yeah, the cage work. Got another Harbor Freight, either trailer hitch rack or ATV rack on the back to hold gear. And then the roof I cut off, and I made this OtterTex soft top bikini top thing to keep the sun out of me, but honestly, you don't need it, but it does help when it's like really sunny or raining. And I also have a full JK soft top for it that actually does fit, but it used to fit with a tailgate. Don't have the tailgate anymore. Cut that off to do this double shear tire carrier. Rig feels great on the road now. Can't complain too much. Every steering and suspension part is almost completely brand new. So it does drive really good on the road now. It's still an XJ on tons and 40s, no rear glass, no roof. So, you know, it's a badass crawler, but it's not quite, not quite as comfortable as this thing. It's got some PRP daily drivers. We did the +4 inches to the backs because I'm kind of tall, I'm 6'1". It's got the Atlas 2-speed 3.8 case, and you can see the Atlas down here. So there we go, thing looks pretty good. There's the lowers, there's the flat upper. From what I understand from years on forums and pirate and stuff, you want your upper control arm to be flat at ride height, and you want the vertical separation at the axle side to be ideally 25% of the tire height. Now, I am not super good at that stuff, but that's just what I've read and what I've shot for over the years. I know friends who are much better at suspension and steering and understanding link geometry than I am, but I did the best I could with what I had. The track bar mount is gusseted in every plane. The upper control arm mount is boxed in and gusseted in every plane and tied to the track bar mount. The doors just drop right in, and I added these little shock mounts that I welded on. They lift on, they lift off, little bump stop, WFO speaker cans, and comes with, it's got some doors. Those doors drop in. I have quick disconnect fittings to put right here. So it's super easy to put the doors on. Does have a JK soft top, does seal up good enough to drive in the winter or the heat of the summer. The more I talk about it, the more I love it. Sliders are heavily used, they're bent. They are kind of like spaghetti at this point, but they're still welded to the frame and they're strong. The exhaust goes all the way out the back, and got some quarter panel guards as well. There's a ruffstuff sticker. Blonde John Cherokee. So the rear doors pop off too, and I have some cool rear doors as well. What else? Really easy to get to your tools. I normally have a fridge sitting right here. You could literally reach it from the side or the back and lift up the top. Pretty sweet setup. Some storage up there for the moment. Plano box. It's got no back seat, and I made this like storage box for the rear. Ton of parts and stuff. Kind of see in there, it's got drive shafts and I don't know. So I carry a lot of spare parts. It's pretty stocked up, tons of tools. Pretty cool setup. The PRPs are nice. The cage, I actually moved the B pillars back. My buddy Rob put the cage in years ago. He put it too close to my head. I wanted the B pillar in the middle of the floor right here. I end up cutting them out, welding them back in further back, and then tying them in with some crossbars to the C pillars. Feel way better about that. And yeah, it's fully caged. My buddy Rob years ago built this cage. I built the last cage on my last Cherokee, and then I've added a lot of bracing and gusseting to it over the years. Cage ties into the sliders. Oh yeah, Kingpin 60. I just put a new U-joint on this axle side. It's a 1310 to 1350. I always carry spare 1310 to 1350. U-joints in the rig and drive shafts for the front and the rear. Got some S10 bumps in here with the prothane bumps glued to the bottom, and then some upper bumps. And yeah, the rig does good. It's got a Smitty-built front winch and some cool little cheap lights that are super bright, literally just welded shock tabs to mount them. That's kind of new, actually. That's one of the new updates, I guess. So yeah, there's some frame plating, track bar plating. It's got a track bar cross brace. Everything mostly clears from what I can remember. Sometimes under heavy wheeling, there was a period in time where before I bump stopped it, the track bar and the drag link would actually hit the passenger side frame rail with the high steer. I think it's mostly fixed now with the stiffer coils and the extra bump stops. I think ideally, if it still hits down the road, I might notch out the frame a little bit, but I think it's good now. I did break a track bar in half on Big Sluice years ago. We welded it up in Rubicon springs, and I actually wheeled it like that for like 2 years before I changed it. I usually carry a lot of spare parts, crankshaft sensors, throttle position sensors, fuel injectors, plugs, plug wires, all kinds of stuff to get it running again, ignition coil. I also carry spare drive shafts, like I mentioned, U-joints, pinion yoke, some Heims, and then a lot of tools, a lot of specialty tools for the 60 14-bolt hubs. Pitman arm pullers, I carry a spare Pitman arm. I carry a welder, a lot of impact guns and grinders, and lots of cool stuff. This is a pretty fun rig. So that's kind of the walkthrough. Oh, we got Battleborn beadlocks, which are pretty rad. Almost forgot those. So Battleborn beadlocks, 40-inch Nittos that are used, but they drive fine, good enough. Yukon super joints on the lockouts. So those things are badass. They're super strong. I've also got Yukon 35 spline chromos with Yukon super joints. So super strong with the Yukon super hubs, Grizzly locker in the front, 538 gears, Atlas 3.8. Decent crawl ratio, wheels good, can go 65 on the freeway for the most part. I usually drive it at 62. It's got some new outer axle seals on the 14 bolt, the socket bags on the tube doors, along with the speaker cans. You can kind of hold some stuff in there. It's got a cheap ass radio, nothing special for the radio. It works, no complaints. So it's got a Bishop Buell Racing Russ Pottinger stroker motor, 4.6. It's got the 4.2 crank. It's bored 30 over. It's got LS valves in the head that Russ Pottinger did. Kenmont machine and sack put it together. It's got the horseshoe intake. It's got a tuned ECU from Flying Ryan Hogan out of Texas, Canon intake with a sticker, and yeah, it's also, oh, one other thing, I see the AC. I've replaced all the AC components, but it doesn't work. It'll work for like a month or two, and then it'll get hot again. It must have a small leak. I've replaced all the O-rings many times, brand new lines, brand new condenser, brand new compressor, brand new dryer. I didn't replace the evap core, but I've stuck a sniffer inside the dash, like cut a hole in the dash, and I can't sniff Freon. I don't know what's leaking. Everything's new except for the evap core, and it should work, and it will for a while, but it doesn't after a while. So that's kind of a bummer. Kind of gave up on it for now. It's got a aluminum 2-row radiator made by American Eagle with 1-inch rows. I bought a long time ago. They don't make them anymore. It's super badass. It cools pretty good. It's got the electric fan on the switch. So you've got to run the electric fan on your own. It's got the HD fan clutch from the ZJ. I think it's the 272. It just went out. Oh, man. So yeah, ZJ fan clutch, 2-row, 1-inch. Oh, it's got a Durango Master. The brakes work really good. Dual diaphragm booster. It's got a shift kit in the AW4, the smaller shift kit. So like it holds first gear only in 1-2, and then firmer shifts through the rest of it. It had, I don't know, springs. You modify the valve body, a bunch of stuff. Also, that tranny is from a stock 98 Cherokee with low miles compared to what I had, in good shape. And I changed the fluid every 2 or 3 trail runs, just what's in the pan, just to kind of keep the fluid fresh. And I changed the oil after every couple runs. If there's anything you want a video done about on this rig, just comment below. If there's something I missed that you're interested in, comment below. But yeah, this thing's pretty cool. Thanks for following along this week. It's a pretty cool rig. Mostly wheel this thing now, just way more comfortable. It's actually very capable. Like this is very capable but this is surprisingly capable for a 2.5-inch lift in 37s, whereas this thing is very custom and very built. It's like gone through like crazy. I actually can't believe out of the box how good these are. I've done a ton of mods to this. There's a bunch of money poured into this thing. I kind of prefer this now. This thing will always have a place in my heart, but I don't know how much longer I will keep it. That's it for this video. If you want to help me out a lot, subscribe to the channel, click notifications. I've been trying to grow the channel. I spend a lot of time editing videos, shooting videos. It's definitely a ton of work. I have a lot of respect for other YouTubers. I don't know how they do it. I think some of them are full-time YouTube. I have a full-time job. And we work on our house a lot. So it's not quite easy for me. And it keeps me motivated if I see growth in the channel with either like more subscribers, more views, people share out the video, people email me comments or post comments on the videos or hit me up. They find me on Facebook and they hit me up and they ask me questions about their Cherokees and I answer them. I've helped a bunch of people off the channel, which is pretty cool, either through Facebook or email, and just helped them kind of figure out what they're trying to do with their rig. I've built so many Cherokees. I've worked on so many Cherokees. I've parted out so many Cherokees, and I've diagnosed and fixed a lot of Cherokees on the trail for a long time now. Yeah, I don't know, comment below. Thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. If you're watching this video, thank you.